There is no relief for Abu Salem. The centre has rejected his petition asking that he be sent back to Portugal. Well, this is the latest that we're getting in. A big blow to Abu Salem, who had pinned his hope on the petition that he be extradited and sent back to Portugal as his life is in danger in the country. This after he was attacked in prison. He sustained injuries, and he filed a petition saying that his life is in danger if he continues to be housed in jails in India. He wants to be sent back to Portugal. Well, the latest breaking news that we are getting in at this point of time, big blow coming in for Abu Salem. He had petitioned the Indian government that he be sent back to Portugal on grounds that he said his life was in danger. This after the attack in jail on Abu Salem, but that petition has now been rejected by the Supreme Court. Let's cut across to my colleague Jaskirat joining us on this news break. Jaskirat, big blow coming in for Abu Salem. He was hoping that he would be sent back to Portugal, but rejected by the Supreme Court.
Well, Abu Salem was actually depending on technicalities. Now, the extradition treaty actually goes back to 2002-2003. As far as Abu Salem is concerned, he says that he had been charged over here the sections of the GA and the sections of Explosive Substance Act, which actually facilitates a punishment which is considering the Portugal constitution and Portugal law. So Portugal allowed him to come to India, to be extradited to India under the conditions from Indian government that he will not be charged with any actually lead to a punishment of the death penalty or imprisonment above 25 years. These are the sections in which he was originally charged, on the basis of which the Portugal trial court as well as the Supreme Court cancelled the extradition treaty and asked the Indian government to send him back. Now, Abu Salem using that and his defense had approached the Supreme Court, but the Supreme Court has not found any merit in his application. In fact, they have allowed the CBI to modify the charges against him to drop those serious charges which would have been in contradiction with the extradition treaty with Portugal, thereby allowing the trial against Abu Salem to continue, which has stayed in the due course of his plea in Supreme Court.
You know, stay on with us, Jaskirat. Breaking news right now, my colleague Jaskirat Singh Bawa from the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court has rejected the petition of Abu Salem. Abu Salem had petitioned saying that he wanted to be sent back to Portugal as his life was in danger. And breaking this news right now is my colleague Jaskirat. Jaskirat, he was hoping that this petition would be bolstered by the attack that he faced in jail. Jaskirat, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Jaskirat, he was hoping, his counsel must be hoping that his petition would have been bolstered by the attack in jail.
So that's correct. Abu Salem was actually also using that as part of his entire
Well, we seem to be having an audio problem. With my colleague Jaskirat Singh Bawa. But essentially, the news that we are breaking at this point of time is no relief coming in for Abu Salem as the Supreme Court has today rejected his petition asking that he be sent back to Portugal. Cutting across to senior criminal lawyer Majid Memon on the phone line. Mr. Memon, thank you for joining us. Could you give us perspective on this news breaks?
You see, the plea having been rejected today by Supreme Court certainly is on the merits of the case put up by the petitioner, that Salem's counsel, as also hearing the CBI. You know, the government of India is trying to honor the commitment that is made to Portugal at the time when the request was made to hand over this fugitive to this country. And this is a convention and the legal obligation between the two countries, requesting country and the requested country. The fugitive is handed over upon certain understanding. Now, in his case, if this honorable court, our highest court, believes that we have not violated any fundamental terms of the treaty or the agreement between the Portugal and India at the time when this man was handed over to this country, then certainly he can't, because this court would not say that yes, he be handed over to Portugal. The Portugal government may take appropriate steps if they deem it proper, and then I think the consequences could follow. But then I think we will have to honor the commitment made to the other country. But since the highest court of our country says that he can't be handed over, it is the result is that he would stay put and will face the trial. for all the ongoing accusations against him.
But on the other hand, Mr. Memon, the CBI all set to drop the stringent charge of Tada.
No, but see, what is important is that when his trials conclude, A, B, C, D, whatever are the charges, at the time of inflicting punishment upon him, because he has not been still an awardee of death penalty to justify violation of any terms. He's tried for certain offences where maximum punishment could be death, but he is not the recipient of death penalty as yet. Therefore, strictly speaking, there is no violation of the terms of agreement with Portugal and India while handing over this man to us.
Appreciate you joining us, Mr. Memon, on this bit of news break. We're also getting reaction by senior lawyer Abha Singh, and then we will cut across to Jaskirat Singh Bawa, who is breaking this news on headlines today. Abha, your first reactions on Supreme Court rejecting Salem's petition for repatriation to Portugal?
Supreme Court has rightly rejected Abu Salem's petition because it is a great welcome, because when he was extradited from Portugal, India clearly said that it would not award death penalty, and in Portugal the extradition terms were that 25 years imprisonment should not be more than that. So as at the moment the trial was only going on, he could not have taken the plea that Indian courts are violating, or the trial was violating the extradition terms. So rightly it has been dismissed, and now the trial can go on. And it should be in the course of events. The only thing that has to be seen is that he should not be given death penalty, because we had assured Portugal at the time of deporting him that death penalty would not be given to him.
Moreover, the possibility that the CBI is all set to drop the stringent charges of Tada against Mr. Salem.
Yeah, because Tada, if you see, Tada charges are implemented, it can be life imprisonment also, because section 5 and 6 of Tada, that is what they are being asked to drop, because that would be life imprisonment, and if it is dropped, then automatically it would be anything less than life imprisonment.
All right.
And that is what the extradition treaty said. I mean, when we said Portugal had taken an assurance while handing over Abu Salem to India that we will not give him any punishment which would be more than 25 years. Well, so life imprisonment has to be ruled out.
Well, thank you. Thank you, Abha, for joining us at this point of time. Let's cut across directly to my colleague Jaskirat, who is breaking this news on headlines today of the Supreme Court rejecting the repatriation bid by Abu Salem to Portugal. Jaskirat, can you talk us through this news break?
Abu Salem had approached the Supreme Court originally with a plea that the Portugal Supreme Court itself had cancelled the extradition treaty. The grounds, of course, were that the Indian investigative agency had charged him against sections of Tada and Explosive Substance Act, which in fact facilitated, or had he been convicted, would have made him, of course, given the punishment of death or perhaps life, which is against the principles or the rules of extradition with Portugal. Portugal as a country looks down upon capital punishment or any serious punishment, which is why they laid down the principle that he should not be punished for more than 25 years or should be given the death penalty if at all he is convicted. And those are some of the basic principles that they had laid down while extraditing him and facilitating the extradition to India. Now, after the Portugal Supreme Court observed that, in fact, the Indian government was a violation of the extradition treaty, he used that to approach the Supreme Court, which in turn stayed the trial going on against him. That trial today, the stay has been vacated, so the trial continues as of today. The plea has been dismissed. The Supreme Court did not find any merit. They also said the CBI, through the Attorney General, had approached the Supreme Court in the middle of this trial, in the middle of the hearing in the Supreme Court, saying that allow us to modify the charges, which should in fact allow us to be within the ambit of the extradition treaty. And the Supreme Court has given CBI that chance to modify the charges against him. Section 5 and 6 of the TDA, as well as Section 4 and another section of the Explosive Substance Act, have in fact been modified against him.